Hello and thank you for joining me. This is Sierra from Sierra T Designs, and today I have for you the 12th card in our 12 Weeks of Christmas series. So let's jump right in. So I am going to be making an alcohol ink background here. I do have a 5x7 piece of the Silver Sparkle Alcohol Ink cardstock by Tim Holtz, and I have Raspberry and Patina alcohol ink also by Tim Holtz. So you saw me spray it with just a little mister bottle I have of 99% isopropyl, and I just kind of use that to make the colors move better. The blending solution is awesome if you want your colors to blend and make different colors, but if you want them to move, I find that isopropyl makes it move a lot better. So you'll see me every once in a while, I'm going to mist the whole piece right there, and that'll help all of the colors move together, and then you'll see I'll use blending solution when I want them to blend and make different colors. So I am only using two colors of ink here, the raspberry and the patina. And because it's pink and green, or it's like a tealy bluish green color, it is going to make purple. And we're going to have a couple of different shades of each color. And now you're going to see I'm going to work this for a while. I find alcohol inks really need time to get somewhere that you enjoy them. And there was a few times while making this, I wasn't sure if I liked it. But I find that that's really common with alcohol inks, at least for me. As I work them, I don't like it, and then I like it, and then I don't like it, and then I like it, and it just kind of keeps going from there. So I think you can just need some time to kind of give it a chance to be what you want it to be rather than expecting it to instantaneously be what you like. And a few times through this card, I actually struggled. You're going to see here when we get into the design, I had a hard time coming up with how I wanted it to be laid out, and so I'm going to go back and forth a few times and try to work on a design that I like, and we get there in the end, but it did honestly take me quite a while to kind of figure out what I was going for in this card. And I hope you guys aren't tired of cards with snowflakes in them. I'm sure you've kind of discovered that I love snowflakes very, very much, and I only own 3 snowflake dies, so we're going to use the same 3 snowflake dies that we used in the last 3 cards, I guess. So yeah, just bear with me and my snowflakes. I have more coming. I bought them on the Black Friday sale from Simon. However, sadly, they have not gotten to me yet, so I still only have the same 3 that I'm working with. But I don't think it's too bad. I don't think it really makes them not still very pretty cards, but I wish I had a little bit more variation in the options, but sadly I don't. Next year we will. I have the January card kit coming from Simon as well, and if you guys have seen that, that's stunning with tons of snowflakes, so I'm pretty excited about when I'm going to get that. So here I'm just going to keep working in my colors. Along the edges, I really kind of wanted it to have a more natural look. So I did bring in the blending solution, and I don't kind of like what that ends up doing. So I'm going to bring in the isopropyl instead and kind of help that to break up the edges there and kind of make them a little bit more natural looking rather than quite jagged, maybe is the right word to say there. I wanted them just to be a bit more like watercolor would, right? Because watercolor kind of just does its own thing. And here you see where I added the green. I didn't like how this turned out, so you're going to see me spray that isopropyl all over the background again because I've gotten to a point where I didn't really like what the blend was doing and I wasn't sure how to fix it. So I just made them all kind of blend together a bit more so there weren't so many harsh lines in the background. But, I mean, you'll have to let me know what you think. In the end, I think it turned out quite pretty, but it did take me a little while to get there. So I think it's just a little bit of patience and kind of working it back and forth. See there, you can see I sprayed it with a bunch of the isopropyl and then kind of air blowed it around, and then I'm going to do it again here in a second. And I even, I'm going to lift up the cardstock and get it to kind of move a bit more as well after I've sprayed it with some more of that isopropyl. So this card was just a bit of a work trying to get it to come together. See here, you're going to see I'm going to blow it all around a bit, and then I'm going to pick it up and kind of just try to get it to move a bit more naturally than I was kind of getting with the air blower. So that is the one thing. So once this is completely covered, like you can see I sprayed it with the isopropyl and it's still moving. Like all of the ink that looked like it was dry, it's all moving again. So I'm going to clean up some of the edges a little bit, and then we're going to call this done here in a sec. Because I couldn't, these edges, I really wanted them to be a bit smoother and a little less harsh. And I started with the blending solution, but it didn't really give me what I wanted, so I kind of just pulled out the stem of that mister bottle I have there with the isopropyl in it, and then kind of broke up some of those areas a little bit. Do you guys like alcohol ink blending? I mean, I always struggle a little bit with it because I want a little more control than I have. But I think that in the end, I generally do really like what I've created. So here I'm just going to hold it up for you so you can kind of check it out on that silver cardstock. And then we're going to move on. So here are those 3 dies that I told you about. These are the 3 snowflakes from Simon Says Stamp. It's the Leah, the Grace, and the Mandala. And then I've cut them out several times because I wanted them to hold their own on this background. So I'm going to layer them up. And there's going to be 3 layers for each one of the snowflakes. And I believe in the end I have 7 on the front of my card. So there's 3 layers to each one of the 7, except one of the center one, it's going to have one where I cut it in half. So I could have cut more, I chose not to. And this is just a white cardstock. It was mostly scraps I had from cards that I've made. It's Neenah 80 pound solar white. And then I'm just taking really small dabs of craft tacky glue and then sticking down all the layers. And I'm using an acrylic block to kind of hold them down so that they glue out like flat. I find otherwise they want to curl, and I didn't want them to curl. So I did kind of have to hold them down with some weight to make sure that they didn't shift. And I'm going to add 3 layers to each one of the snowflakes that you see on the front of the card there. Also, I cut out a couple, just 2 pieces of vellum. It's Bazzill's 40 pound white vellum of the little snowflake, the littlest one, and I'm going to add that on the top on the end. I'm not going to show you me cutting it out because I think you kind of grasp the concept of die cutting, but I did cut out just 2 extra layers, and then I'm going to add them on to the 2 snowflakes for a little added dimension. And yeah, the Mandala snowflake, which is the one you see me putting together right here, I actually put it together wrong. I didn't realize there's like a small side and a big side in the center, so it's not perfect, but honestly, I don't really think you can tell unless you know to look for it. I mean, you can tell me in the end of this card when we get there if you can really see that I kind of didn't line it up well, but at the end of the day, this is a handmade card, and there's nobody that I would send a handmade card to that wouldn't tell me it was stunning and just love that I sent them a card. So I'm not too concerned about it, although with this card I would make sure it was hand delivered because I did add pieces of vellum that stand up, so it's not completely flat. So it would be harder to mail unless you're going to put it in maybe a padded envelope or that kind of an envelope. You wouldn't be able to just throw this in a standard envelope and mail it. Well, you could, actually. I guess you just have to flatten out the vellum. I leave it quite high because I wanted the dimension, but you could flatten it out, and that would kind of take away the concern for mailing. But have you guys mailed out your Christmas cards yet? I haven't, and Christmas is in a week. Well, sorry, when I'm doing this voiceover, it's in a week. When this goes up, it's only in a few days. This is going up on Monday, as I always do, but yeah, this Christmas is in a week, and I haven't sent out my mail cards yet, so they're going to be late. Well, mail's late regardless right now, sadly. As I stated earlier, I bought some stuff on Black Friday, and sadly, it has not gotten to me yet. I know mail is really slow for most people, so not that there's anything we can do about it except be patient, because I can't make the mail come faster, sadly. But yeah, so I have a few other things that I'd like to make with snowflakes on them, but they're going to end up probably in January with that kit from Simon. So here you can see I'm ready to glue everything down. I'm going to use kind of the same technique I did to layer up the snowflakes. I'm going to put little dabs of the glue on the back, and then I'm going to stick it down with the block on the background. Because it is a glitter cardstock, there's always that concern that it's not going to hold. At least I have a little bit of a concern. So I did kind of weigh it down with that same acrylic block to make sure that it didn't just lift off of the glittered cardstock. And this first one, I'm laying it down before I build my design because I want it to be centered. So I'm centering it to the middle of the cardstock as best that I can, and then I'm going to build my design around it. So here you're going to see when we jump back in that I've kind of laid out how I want my design to look, and we're just going to adhere it down. It took me a while, and I cut that footage out because honestly it was me staring at a card, moving a snowflake around, staring at the card, moving a snowflake around. Like, it would have been so boring for you guys to watch, but it took me a while. I couldn't get this design down in a way that I really liked, so I had to kind of play with it a bit before I got there. But I did get there, and I think that it turned out really pretty. I did opt not to add a sentiment to this card. You absolutely can. I think that I would probably add it in the center of the snowflake, on the middle snowflake there. I chose not to because I loved how it looked on the front, and I didn't really want to put a sentiment on it. I kind of like how this looks more like a bit of an art piece than a card necessarily. And I'll hold it up at the end there so you can see how pretty this looks. But I did kind of opt not to add a sentiment to it. And now, I mean, this could be for a winter birthday, this could be a Christmas card, this could be so many things. So I kind of just left the sentiment off and kind of would just write whatever I wanted to write on the inside of the card. Or I might keep it. I have a couple from this year so far that I haven't sent anywhere yet. I might still send them out, but I'm not sure yet, so they're still set to the side. So I'm just gluing these down and making sure that I weigh it down so it's actually adhering to this glitter cardstock. Because there are a few layers to this, it does add a bit of bulk anyway, which is nice, so it adheres a bit better than they would if they had no bulk to them. But I still did add that block to them. And you can also see that I have a few gems in there. I have the Pretty Pink Fresh Studios Essential Gems. And I just added a couple, and I added them into my layout right away again because I was playing with my layout and trying to find something I really liked, and it took me a few minutes. So, and then here you can see I'm just adding the two little vellum snowflakes that I cut out as well, and I'm going to add a gem to the center of them to kind of hide the glue through the vellum because you can see it, and I didn't like that. So I did opt to add a little gem to the center to kind of hide the dabs of glue around the center because it is lifted up. And then, because I can't stop, I had to add a little bit more. I added 2 more gems, just to fill out the one side a little bit better. And then here I have a 5x7 card base that I cut out, because this is a 5x7. And I originally thought that I might trim it down, but I liked the design of the alcohol ink so much that I opted to just have it be the full front of the card. You don't have to do this. You could have trimmed it, you could have added a border, or you could have done so many things, but in the end, this is kind of what I opted to do. And I also used my Score Buddy to kind of line it up, as this is the full front of the card, so it was really easy to just push it into that corner with the 5x7 card base and glue it down. So here you go. This is our final official Christmas card. I hope you guys like it. I hope you're not getting bored of me and my snowflakes yet. But yeah, let me know what you think. Did you enjoy it? Is it kind of your thing? Not really your thing? What do you think? I'd love to know. So that is the last card. Leave me a comment, leave me a like, subscribe if you haven't. I upload a video every Monday, and we're going to probably up that a little bit as we come into the new year, and we're going to change things up a little bit. And that's the card for this week, guys. So thank you so much, and I will see you again soon, and have a great holiday. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.